We're sailing in a luxury suite on board Carnival's largest cruise ship, the Carnival Celebration. My name's Dawson from Duck Duck Cruiser, and you're going to be joining us sailing all the way from Miami to the DR to visit Monkeyland. You'll also be seeing onboard activities, entertainment, and dining. Join us as we go on this magnificent sailing. But first, we got to start back at the beginning. Oh shoot, it's cruise day. Let's go back. Here we go. Okay, let's get this puppy open, and yep, here we go. We pretty much only need one thing here. Yep, there we go. Oh shoot, and maybe just a little bit more. Yep, there we go. Yep, let's just close her up. Yep, that'll be good. There we go. Okay, yep. Once arriving to the cruise terminal, we make our way through the line to the check-in process. And because we are in a suite, we do get our own private check-in area. Once we give the correct documents, we are officially checked in and now can head towards security. Now yet again, we do get our own private security check-in as being part of the suites. After being sniffed by a guard dog, which has never happened to me on a cruise, we actually made our way towards the suite embarkation lounge. This space is also shared with the Diamond and Platinum members and provides comfortable seating for you to lounge before embarkation. Now if you are worried about perks of this lounge, the only thing that actually is provided is some complimentary water, and excluding that, there's really nothing else. So we're about to board the Carnival Celebration. We had just gotten through all the security and all of that stuff, so we're just waiting in this lounge right now. So we're about to board. So yeah, when I said about to board, I really meant in about 2 hours. I mean, we had got there pretty early, but it had taken forever for us to actually be able to get on the ship. But after that, we were confirmed to board, went up an escalator, through the gangway, and now we are officially on board the Carnival Celebration. Once on board, we'll head to the elevators and head up to deck 15 where our room is located. Now the rooms aren't necessarily ready right now, but we are going to drop off our bags and come back later after eating some lunch. After dropping off our bags and one more elevator ride later, we have come to Guy's Burger for embarkation day lunch. Guy's Burgers has plenty of options ranging from just a plain cheeseburger to absolutely crazy burgers with bacon and all these sauces on them. After going through the line, I got myself just a simple plain cheeseburger and absolutely destroyed it as a first meal of the cruise. In the time it took us to eat lunch, our room is now officially ready for us to come and take a look at the room. And if you already didn't get the hint, we are staying in the suite room 15301. So now that we have officially arrived into the room, it's time to take a look at the suite. Once entering, you are met with your bed, which has a luggage cover on it so you don't get your bed dirty on the first day. Stepping further into is where you'll find your desk and storage. For your main storage, you have huge closets, which provide plenty of room for hanging clothes and other important clothing necessities. In the closet, you also find baskets and your safe, along with drawers and closet hangers. And over by the desk is where you'll find plenty of plugs and USB outlets. And since we are in a suite, we do get 2 complimentary bottles of water, and let me just say they are pretty big too. And for somewhere to put those waters, you do have a mini fridge right below, and comes with no drinks inside of it. Past that is your living area with your couch, which can be separated by a curtain. So yeah, here we are in the room. You know, this is our new home for 7 days, but somewhere we haven't checked out yet is the balcony, so, you know, let's go head to that. Moving on to the bathroom, which comes with a very large sink and plenty of countertop space. Right next to that is your toilet, which is complimentary. You also have a very large glass door shower, which is always nice to see. And because we are in a suite, we do get some upgraded amenities. I don't necessarily know if this is a good brand, but it is provided by Elmis. And by the time we're done looking at the room, the ship has sailed away. After watching sail away, I pretty much just wanted to relax in the room and take a little bit of a nap before dinner. And one quick nap later, it's time for dinner. Okay, since we're going to dinner, we do need to put on something a little bit better. And when I mean better, something like pants, some actual shoes, and just take off the hat. So, you know what? Let's go do that. I've honestly always wanted to do one of these transitions at some point in my life. So we're doing it right now. But we're going to go from this to this. So I think this is much better. So you know what? Let's go to dinner now.
Deck 6.
As for where we're actually eating, we'll be eating in the Festival restaurant. Now this is one of 2 main dining rooms and is the larger one located in the back on deck 6. Festival provides a big open area in the middle with plenty of seating off to the sides with more cozy spaces and plenty of windows. Upon arrival, we were shown to our table, which would become our spot for the rest of the cruise. After sitting down, we could only help but realize that we were right next to the window with amazing, beautiful views of the ocean. Pretty soon after sitting down, some bread was served, and after that we were able to put in our orders. Pretty shortly after that, our appetizers did come out and I went for the Caesar salad. Now don't ask me how I actually ended up going for this as an appetizer, but I will say it was very delicious and tasteful, especially considering it's a salad. Next up was our entrees, and I went for the steak, which overall was actually very delicious, except for the sauce because I normally order no sauce, and which I would do in the next nights, but the meat and the rest of the steak was very good. Next up would be the dessert, which I went for the strawberry cheesecake, which is one of my favorite desserts. And just like strawberry cheesecake usually is, this was absolutely delicious and a perfect way to finish off the meal. After dinner, it's time for some entertainment on board. We will make our way to the Limelight Lounge, which is located on deck 7 towards the middle of the ship. Inside the Limelight Lounge, you have plenty of seating, and off to the side you actually have a bar so you can order some drinks while being entertained. And the Limelight Lounge itself is actually used for trivia and comedy, and a few other activities, but today we're here for the comedy. Overall, that comedy show was pretty good, but our next stop is actually the Carnival store. This store is located on deck 8 towards the back of the ship near Pig and Anchor. In here you can find all your branded merchandise from Carnival, like any cups, t-shirts, sweatshirts, anything like that you can find right here. Now while all that other stuff is great, we are here for only one thing, and that is the ship model. Now honestly, we probably have an abnormal obsession with collecting as many ship models as possible, so this one just had to be part of our collection. And after purchasing a ship model that probably costed way too much money, we headed back to the room for the night. You know, it's about time to actually go to bed. It's been a long first embarkation day, so, you know, let's actually get ready to go to bed. Good night, everybody, and remember, don't let the bed bugs bite. Fight back. Wakey wakey, and the bedbugs did not bite, so that's pretty good. And since we're awake, what better way to enjoy the morning than on the balcony? Well, this has been pretty fun, but now it's time to go somewhere else. Alright, so I should actually probably tell you where we're going. It's the morning, so we do need some breakfast. Let's actually go to the main dining room, something a tad bit different. So let's go. Yet again, we were eating in the Festival restaurant for breakfast, and upon arrival we were met with a long line. And after a little while later, we were shown over to our table, which was not the same table that we had for dinner. And I probably should mention that the line was there probably because we got there pretty early. After sitting down, we put in our drinks order, and I went for the apple juice. After that, we put in our breakfast orders, and I went for the cheese omelet. After that delicious omelet, somehow definitely accidentally, a chocolate cake was ordered and came out, and this was absolutely amazing. I definitely accidentally ordered this. And one chocolate cake later, the meal has ended, gotta leave that duck, and we're gonna head out to do something else. Alright, so we just got back from eating breakfast, and there's actually something really cool about this ship. You've probably seen it in the intro, and that is the roller coaster. It's called Bolt, so you know what, let's just go do that right now. To get to Bolt, we need to go to the Ultimate Playground, which can be accessed through the midship elevators using one of the 2 elevators that go all the way up to deck 18. Now, what actually is the Ultimate Playground? Well, this is the space where most of the onboard fun activities are. This is where you can find water slides, mini golf, ropes courses, a basketball court, and Bolt the roller coaster. Now that we're up here, let's make our way to the Bolt roller coaster and check in for our appointment. And yes, this is at an upcharge around $15 per person. Once checked in, I made my way up the stairs to wait in a little bit of a queue before getting on Bolt the roller coaster. And if you didn't already know, this is absolutely crazy that a cruise ship actually has a roller coaster at sea. This is just really cool. Now let's get moving. That was way too cool. Unfortunately, we could not film on it, but that's fine. It's still super fun. We did get some footage though, so. Now, while that might have been one of the coolest things I've ever done on a cruise ship, it's time for something more watery. And after going back to the room and changing, we're off to do something different. And yes, we also do have to head all the way back up to where we just came from. I know, not the most efficient use of time. So if you're wondering what we are actually doing, we are going to the water slide. There are 3 on board, and this is in the Ultimate Playground yet again towards the back, past Bolt the roller coaster. Here they have 1 body slide, 1 mat slide, and 1 drop slide. And yes, if you couldn't tell in the video, I did try to go up and film with the GoPro, but unfortunately I could not manage to film, so I actually had an idea to set up and make sure that we got some kind of footage. And yes, I did go up and went down the orange slide. It's kind of hard to tell here, but I did manage to go down it, and I did get a few other footage, so here that is. And after having way too much fun on those slides, I decided to go check out some of the other pools that the Carnival Celebration has to offer. I decided to head to the Tides pool, which is located outside of the buffet on deck 16, at the back. Here you can find 2 hot tubs and a bigger pool, which can provide you some elevated wake views. All I had to do to get here was walk down 2 flights of stairs and head towards the back, and once I dropped off my stuff, I decided to hop in the pool. After spending some time in the pool, we also got to check out the hot tubs. Now, while the hot tub is pretty cool, there also is another pool that has even better wake views down on deck 8, so let's head there. Yet again, I set my stuff down and got in the pool, and let me just say, this pool was absolutely freezing cold. Now, after pretty much freezing to death, I think we've had enough, so let's go do something else. But first, we gotta head back to the room. Once changed, we gotta head all the way back down to where we just were, but a little bit before that in Pig and Anchor. And yes, I know, what another great use of time. And now's probably a good time to tell you why we're here at Pig and Anchor, and this is to eat some barbecue food. And upon getting here, we did end up having to wait in a line before we could actually get our food. And after a little bit of a wait, I managed to get my food and headed over to the barbecue sauces. After getting the barbecue sauce, I found a seat with an amazing view of the water. And after sitting down, it's time for that first bite, and honestly, this barbecue food was pretty good, but not the best barbecue food I've ever had. But that wasn't going to stop me from absolutely destroying the food. That was a pretty good meal, but time to head somewhere else now. So all we gotta do to get where we're going is, wait, is that an ice cream truck? Yep, that's an ice cream truck, and you know what, we just have to go get a boatload of ice cream. You get what I did there, boat. You know what, never mind. Well, while I will be destroying that ice cream along the way, I should probably tell you where we're actually heading, and that's the Limelight Lounge. And I should also tell you while we're walking in what we are actually doing here, and that's some trivia. Once finding a seat, trivia started pretty shortly afterwards and we started trying to answer these questions. I think it's pretty fair to say that we did absolutely terrible on this, and also just avoid the spelling. Yes, I know it's very bad. And after one very poorly answered trivia session later, we decided to head back to the room. And once we were in the room, pretty much just chilled until it was time for something else. Alright, so we've actually done a lot of stuff today, and unfortunately, at least for me, it is formal night, so I actually do have to put on something a little bit better than normal. How unfortunate. I know, guys. But anyways, let's go put on something good and go to dinner in the main dining room. Alright, we're dressed in something a little better. Let's head to dinner now. And yes, in this clip I was in a very tight elevator. And yet again, we're eating in the main dining room festival at our amazing ocean view table. Pretty shortly after sitting down and putting in our order, some bread came around. And let me just say, this bread was pretty good. And before we knew it, our appetizers came out, and I went for the Caesar salad yet again because I think this is probably one of the best Caesar salads I've ever had, which is saying a lot because I don't eat many Caesar salads. And just like all the food we've had so far, I absolutely destroyed this. And not too much longer after finishing the salad, our main courses did come out and I went for the prime rib. Now this isn't something they offer every night, but because it is formal night, they do offer this along with lobster, but I don't like seafood, so I did not go for that. And pretty much after taking that first bite, I had known that this was probably the best prime rib I've ever ate. And this just aided in the fact that I was still gonna absolutely destroy this meal. And pretty shortly after that, our desserts came out, and I went for the chocolate Malta lava cake. Now, I don't know if that's the technical name, that might be the Chili's name of this, but anyways, it's pretty much the same thing. And no matter what you want to call it, this dessert was undeniably one of the best desserts I've ever had. Might even be beating cheesecake in some points, but anyways, I absolutely destroyed this as well. And after that absolutely delicious meal, let me just say that so far, the food on board Carnival has been some of the best food on any cruise ship so far. But anyways, let's head back to the room. Alright, so like I said, we're all done with dinner, changed into something a little bit better. We're actually gonna go out and, do some stuff on the ship. I'm pretty sure there's some violins happening, a production show, might not make that. A few other cool stuff happening tonight. So you know what, let's go check that out before the port day tomorrow. As we leave the room, I should probably tell you guys where we're actually going, and we are heading towards the gateway. Now you might be asking, what is there in the gateway? Well, first of all, this is where we're going to actually be listening to some entertainment before going to a show. As for what the gateway actually is, this is kind of like a mini promenade with some bars off to the side, a little seating area with a restaurant, and a place to listen to some music. Oh yeah, and it's located on deck 6 midships. As for the entertainment, we are going to be listening to a trio of violins that play some amazing songs. And after finishing up on that amazing violin performance, we started to head over to the main theater to see a production show. When we have officially arrived at the Grand Spectrum Theater, otherwise known as the main theater on board. While I do very much respect the entertainment team, the main theater does have one drawback, and that is it is way too small for how big the ship is, and this is pretty much a common theme with the rest of the ship in terms of entertainment venues. Nevertheless, we found some seats in the back, sat down, and watched the show. After that show, we pretty much called it a night and started to head back to the room. One quick shower later, I'll roll into bed, and it's good night for me. Well, good morning, all the way from Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. Now, the area that we're actually docked in technically isn't the city of Puerto Plata, it is called Amber Cove. Now, what Amber Cove actually is, this is kind of like Costa Maya, it's just like a little bit of a private area that the Carnival Corporation owns. As you can see here, we're just finishing up the docking, but there is one thing we need to do before we go out in port. And because it is the morning, we do need a little bit of fuel, we'll be heading to the buffet to eat breakfast. As for what the buffet actually has to offer, there's pretty much 2 stations, one in the back and one in the front of the buffet, and these stations are pretty small in general. They do also have a few drink stations off to the side, but no bar in the buffet. As for seating wise, the seating situation is very compartmentalized, which does help with the crowd control, which makes the effect of feeling like there are less people in the buffet. As for what I went for a lighter breakfast with some eggs, some muffins, and some toast. As for how it tasted, the toast and muffins tasted pretty good, but the eggs were just okay. And after heading back to the room and watching the sunrise, it was pretty much time for us to get off. And with a scan of the key card, we are off of the ship, heading to our meeting point for our shore excursion today. As we walk towards our meeting point, we pass the sign that says where we are, Amber Cove, and of course they make us walk through duty-free shopping. I mean, it wouldn't be a stop in the Caribbean if you didn't see any duty-free shopping. But anyways, after walking through that, we made it to our meetup point. And after a bit of a wait, we are off to go see some monkeys. And as we walk out of the Amber Cove area to our bus, I should probably tell you what our excursion entails. So this excursion we booked pretty much takes us to a place called Monkeyland. Now here you can obviously see what is in the name, some monkeys, and there was also two options on board. One would be to do a city tour, and one would be like a cultural immersion thing. Now since we really didn't want to do the city tour, we decided to do the cultural immersion thing. And as you're about to find out, it was not my favorite thing, but the monkeys, those carried the whole experience. And as you could probably tell, we have officially arrived to Monkeyland. Now while you would think when you first got here that you would go see the monkeys, no, that's not what happens. If you did book the cultural tour, which we did, you walk past the monkeys onto this bridge to go have this cultural experience. While it was kind of cool to get some chocolate and coffee that was locally made, the whole experience kind of did feel like one big sell, like they were trying to get you to purchase these things. And oh yes, you can purchase these things. They made sure to let us know that we could buy them. So while the cultural thing was kind of neat, it really wasn't what we wanted, and there was no option to just book for the monkeys. You had to go either on this or the cultural, and like I've been saying, but this one was shorter, so I think it was pretty much worth it in the end. Anyways, it's time to go to the monkeys. Once going over the bridge, we are guided over to a seating area where they'll basically allow us to drop off our bags and tell us about what we can and cannot do during the monkey experience. After that, we head in and sit down. And yes, these are all monkeys running all across me. They put some food on me. This was absolutely a really cool experience. And after one really cool experience later, it's time to leave. A keycard scan and a pass-through through the mandatory security, and we're on board. And after that excursion, we've worked up quite a bit of an appetite, so it's time to go get some lunch. So where we'll actually be eating is the Blue Iguana Canteen. Now this is your onboard Mexican place that is free and is comparable to El Loco Fresh on Royal Caribbean. Now I do have to say this is about 10 times better than El Loco Fresh. And yes, that means Carnival is the best Mexican place at sea. And as you can see here, I went for a burrito with a side of sour cream. And this burrito was absolutely amazing, and it's probably the main reason why this is the new best Mexican place at sea. Now that we're done with lunch, it's time to do something else. And what better thing to do than the ropes course? This will provide us an amazing view and a cool experience in Amber Cove. So all we gotta do is get strapped up into some gear and we're off to go see an amazing view. To actually get there, we do need to go through most of the ropes course to get to the viewing point. And here we are. I'll let the views speak for themselves. Now that was pretty cool, but we still need to finish the rest of the ropes course. And pretty shortly after the rope course, it was time to leave. And after watching Sail Away and chilling in the cabin for a little bit, it's time for dinner. So we actually are going somewhere a little bit nice. It is technically specialty dining, but we didn't pay, so it's actually better. So you know what, let's go to that. Now wait a minute, we never eat in specialty dining because it costs. And you're absolutely right, this specialty dining is included. For whatever reason, they offer a free dinner at 2 of the specialty dining options. Now while these are the 2 cheaper ones, it is still free. There's the place we'll be going, and then there's Chibang. And the place we'll be going, well, I don't really know how to pronounce this, but there's the name. Now when you hear specialty dining and think about $40 for the price tag, this one actually only cost $8, or that one meal free included thing that you get. Now as for the food they serve, this is your specialty Italian restaurant. And as you're about to find out, this place is absolutely delicious. Upon arriving, we were shown to our table, and after sitting down, we were served some bread. Pretty soon after that, our orders were taken. And not shortly after that, our appetizers came out, and I went for the meatball. And let me just say, this is probably one of the best meatballs I've ever had. And not too shortly after our appetizers, our entree came out. Now I went for the carbonara, which is something I've actually never tried before, and let me just say this was absolutely delicious and something I would definitely be ordering again. And if you're wondering about the scenery change, we actually had to move tables because somebody a few tables down from us was drunk and being incredibly annoying, so we decided to ask and move somewhere else. Anyways, after finishing our entrees, our dessert did come out. Now I went for this cool lemon bar kind of frozen thing. Honestly, it was very unique, but still tasted absolutely delicious. Now that dinner's over, it's time to go watch a show, so let's head there. As for where we'll be going to center stage. Now this is pretty much like the main atrium on board, and has plenty of bars off to the sides with some seating areas overlooking this stage. Now there is a major flaw in terms of this entertainment venue, and it is that there is not too much seating, seats fill up early, and overall most of the seats that you can get just don't even have good views. It really just feels like too small of a space to be having the majority of the production shows. And because of all these flaws, we ended up having to get there about an hour early just to get a half decent seat. Anyways, after that wait, the show has officially started. Yeah, and about halfway through the show, this thing popped out, which is one of the most scariest things I've ever seen. This is awful. Why did they put this in here? Anyways, let's hope he doesn't come back later. And after the show finished, we decided to head back to the room for the night. And good morning from 4 AM. Yes, I did wake up this early just to watch us sail into Port Miami. But here's a super cool time lapse of it. And now that we're all docked, we can officially get off of the ship. This means getting all of our stuff and leaving the room, heading down to the gangway and exiting the ship. And just like that, we're back from our cruise. Man, the cruises, they always go by so fast, but they're just so fun. Anyways, I had a great time on this cruise. The food was absolutely amazing. So that does pretty much conclude today's video. What I am wondering from you guys is, did you enjoy this type of content? It's a little bit different than what I normally do, but I am wondering if you guys want to see more of this, less of this, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, you want longer videos, more days showed, anything like that. What do you guys want? Let me know down in the comment section. You guys probably could also tell in the video, this was a 7-day cruise, but we just did way too much during the cruise to show all of it. So I just showed the highlights pretty much around 4-ish days. But that's just a disclaimer, this was a 7-day cruise. And just like I was talking about the comments, if you want all the 7 days, put those down in the comments, I'd love to know. Anyways, sorry guys for the big delay in videos. This video has taken a while to produce and just a lot of thought went into it. So I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and always remember to have a ducky day.